All aboard your Tech and Games caboose. We have the Jump Force launch trailer and some Xbox tips, along with some Apex Legend news, some gaming surround headphone stuff, and RTX Laptop GPU variations. So pretty interesting. So let's jump into the Jump Force launch trailer. So PS4, Xbox, PC, and this is launching tomorrow for the ultimate pre-orders for early access. There's a live event stuff going on for some tournament stuff today. You can check out like Microsoft's streams and Twitch and stuff. They have stuff going on. So this looks pretty intense. Come on, Jet Hawk. So pretty awesome moves from your favorite superheroes and manga characters and stuff. Basically, pretty good stuff. So we have some actual tips that Xbox is giving us. X-Force. So what they are is just basic beginner tips. Basically, when you're creating your team, you want to pick your first character because that's going to be your primary fighter that you're going to be launching with in your 3 versus 3 match, basically. 3 characters versus 3. And then slot 2, they're recommending an assist character like Vegeta, who isn't exactly an assist character. He's more like a pretty powerful character, you'd have to say. And then your third character, you can just pick whoever. They don't really go into any more details there. Also, balance-wise, you're going to want to mix between long-range attack characters and close fighters, like Izuka Midori. So basically, you want to have a range of those. You also probably want to look for like recommended characters online, whatever's going on with certain balance patches and stuff. So see what the best characters are and then pick your favorites out of those and then give it a mix between the two. You don't want to get wrecked because you're not good at fighting long range characters and then you can counter with close range or something like that. There's an extra little bonus tips, and then they go over the basics of battle. Here's the Xbox specific controls. It'll be different for PlayStation and PC, obviously. But then they go into the attacks and stuff for a little bit. So rush attacks are pretty quick attacks, obviously fast and effective. And the max amount of rush attacks that can be performed in a row varies for each character. So depending on the character, you could get a mix between like 4 all the way up to 7 times in a row. So a lot of quick oriented combat, it looks like. And then smash attacks. There's 2 types. There's just your regular smash, and then there's a heavy smash attack. So if you fully charge a smash or heavy smash attack, they become full power smashes, and then you can break opponents' guards, which is pretty important in a fighter style game. And also you can do a perfect smash, which if you press X at the right time, then you can basically move while doing it. So that's pretty good as well. And then if you are getting beat pretty bad, you probably want to start upping your game for dodges and escapes. Two different mechanisms here. So basically you can press the right button and right before getting hit to perform a dodge, or if you're actually being hit, you can try to do an escape with the left button, it looks like. And then there's also throw evasions. If the people actually grab onto you and are trying to throw you, you can also get out of those. So you'll probably need some good reaction times for those different dodge mechanisms. And then chasing is basically just a rush attack that launches your opponent, and then you follow up basically and you chase them and get extra attacks and stuff. So pretty fast oriented play. Some area changes. So if you're getting beat again, this is for people kind of losing, you'll want to do a full power smash or heavy smash attack, and if you do it correctly, you will get an area change. So you'll go to a different map and blast your opponent onto the next map and do a bunch of damage. And you need a gauge of 50% or more to execute this for the awakening gauge. So this will actually take some resources. So you'll be able to get a little bit of an advantage by using this. So pretty good. And gauges, speaking of gauges, you will start at a gauge of 2 for your ability gauge. Different moves use different amounts of the gauge, and it goes all the way to a max of 5. So for some of the stronger moves, it could use all the way up to 5. So pretty strong stuff there. And then to fill your ability gauge up, you'll want to get through some combat, and also you can focus by holding the right trigger, depending on whatever console you're playing on, and you can actually just get your gauge to fill up quicker if your opponent's not exactly on top of you fighting you. And then the awakening gauge is the second gauge that you want to look out for. This is the gray outlined around your character's icon, and there's 2 levels for this, yellow and red, and this will give you some pretty powerful awakening abilities and moves to perform. So red is the full awakening, so you can unlock even more powerful and flashy attacks. So pretty powerful there. And then 2 small notes: your health and ability gauges are shared among the team. So all 3 of your characters, if you don't want to use your first character's awakening or something because the second one's stronger, then you can kind of plan for that a little bit. And then the ability and awakening gauges carry over between rounds as well, so something else to look out for. And then the tournament and stuff, the live stream we were talking about in the beginning is between 2 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Pacific. So that's on Mixer. There's probably some Twitch streams going on. This is some like pro tournament stuff happening the day before the early access for everyone pre-ordering. So a bunch of stuff to watch today, along with a bunch of launch stuff tomorrow probably. So that's your Jump Force hype for today. And then we have some Apex Legends, the battle royale that just got pretty popular this week. And apparently in the game code, Apex update has data mined some of this for us, and they found a solo and a game mode found in the game files. So basically you have to play with 3 people right now, but it looks like hopefully this month or next month or the first update, they'll add a solo or duo mode in if you just want to wreck people by yourself because your team's letting you down. You don't have 2 other friends to actually jump in the game with, and you're just pugging it. So pretty cool there. We kind of expected that to come, and they may or may not announce it like they did or did not announce the game, and they just throw it in tomorrow or something. That could be an interesting way to release things, I guess. And then Dizzy is the first player to reach Apex Legends level 100. So it took about a week, and it looks like they did some 18-hour actual streams because they are actually a streamer on Twitch. So they played quite a bit to get to level 100, and apparently level 100 isn't even the highest level. So apparently people can go higher than a level 100, and this is him actually getting to rank level 100. And you get different rewards. You'll get currency and actual packs for different costumes and stuff. So it's basically all costume based and different color changes, and looks like masks potentially. So he has 3,522 kills basically to get to this level. I believe kills, headshots may not count toward it, but wins and stuff and placement could count towards your points. So you got quite a bit of grinding to do to get to 100. And then we're not sure the max level past 100, but it could go up to 1,000 potentially, or like 500, or they could keep expanding. So it could get pretty intense. And then Titanfall, this is by Respawn as well. But thanks to Apex Legends is getting a revival in their player base a little bit. So a bunch of people are pretty hyped over the Battle Royale and are checking out Titanfall 2 again. So some of the player numbers are 10,000 right now for Titanfall 2, and the past year's only been around 5,000. So that's on, I believe, Xbox One, PS4, and PC look like they're getting some bump in numbers. So even Titanfall 2 is getting some pretty big numbers, just like Apex Legends hit 1 million in the first couple hours. It's a free-to-play game, but it's pretty impressive. And then 10 million over the 72 hours. So Apex Legends is a pretty big battle royale right now, and Titanfall 2 is getting some of that as well. So that leads us into some tech news. We have Linus here doing some surround gaming headphones comparison, and basically we get to see today our surround gaming headphones basically. So this is a whole 8.5 minute video. You can definitely check out. He gives a lot of different background information for it, but they talk about 2 different main forms. So he talks about the object-based surround, and then the brute force, where you actually have 7 drivers in your headphone, 5 drivers for 7.1 true surround headphones. So they give a little bit of a basic background for that, and then he gets all dressed up for some actual testing, because Linus likes to test stuff and benchmark stuff, and it gets pretty good numbers. So they use Overwatch to do the testing with some actual shooting bots in one of the levels. So they spin people around, and they are trying to aim at the bot. They'll try to then aim at the bot and see where, how much accuracy they can actually get. So they test a bunch of different people, a bunch of different headphones. They use some software-based surround. They use the Razer TMOT 7.1 that actually has 5 different speakers inside the headphones to give you different angles of audio. And the results, some of the early results, they have a bunch of different results you can check out. But Dolby Atmos, basically the software, has been doing the best so far, with the 100% maximum accuracy and a minimum accuracy of 98%. So again, that's the best they mention. And they point out the Razer TMOT 7.1 as being the worst. So if you actually put 5 drivers in sound drivers in the headphones, apparently it doesn't translate too well somehow. So, and then the Steel series looked like they didn't do as well either. So pretty interesting results here. And then they go into some actual who got different scores and stuff. Edsel, 99%, did pretty well. Brandon kind of got beat by Dennis, so not too good there, but here's some of the actual stats for different headsets. So you may want to check this out if you're looking for some new headphones. A pretty good video. Awesome for gaming headphones, and not too great because they're not doing too well, as expected at least. And then next up we have some GPU stuff in laptops for the RTX series. So this is posted on Reddit, so Redditors are getting pretty riled up by this a little bit at least. And then so Razer Blade, the 15 RTX 2070, this is the GPU that they're comparing on the Razer Blade, and also the Gigabyte Aero 15X9. Nice names for laptops. So the GPU in the Razer laptop has a 22% faster base clock rate. So it's basically just clocked higher, it looks like, and over the Gigabyte Aero 15X9. The result is 10 to 15% better gaming performance, faster gaming performance. So pretty interesting depending on the laptop, even if it's the same exact GPU. So the 27 Max Q GPU and an 8750H CPU processor, if it's the same specs, you could get some pretty big differences in performance. So does that mean the Gigabyte is underclocking its GPU? Not necessarily, because the official spec for NVIDIA has the base clock rate at 885 megahertz. So it's more likely that the Razer is overclocking the GPU. So this could be a bunch of different things, like brand GPUs, you'll see different performance even with the same model of graphics card in desktops. So that could be due to cooling, to actually just overclocking higher, to better binned GPUs. They could do a little bit of all three of those. And then cooling can depend on how big the laptop is, if there's extra room for heat pipes and bigger fans and faster RPM fans. And they don't really mention sound here. I'm not sure off the top of my head which one's louder, but pretty interesting. They do some 3D Mark graphs if you want to check this out. Razer Blade 15 scores 3,679 points, and the Aero 15 scores 3,240, so percentage different there at 1440p resolution. And then you can check out the 4K results. Pretty similar. They don't test it here because I guess the other one doesn't have a 4K screen. The Aero doesn't have a 4K, I guess, option, with the 270 at least, that is. So pretty interesting. GPUs for the RTX are getting pretty big differences, 10 to 15%. Just wanted to throw that out there if you're looking at laptops. Cool. And with that, we will have another episode tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific with some more tech news and games. And Mark says, woohoo! So apparently you like something with laptops potentially, or the gaming section. Cool beans. And with that, we will be signing out. Pew, 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 pew.